Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media and listening to another edition of the Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are thrilled to have a return appearance from our friends from the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program. Joining us is Jenn Nelson, CEO of the program. How you doing, Jenn?
I'm doing great.
Good. How long have you been involved?
I started SDVLP in 2017 and I became the CEO in 2021.
And what got you interested in getting involved with this group?
Well, I used to be in corporate law in Los Angeles, and I found that the work that was most rewarding to me about being an attorney was the pro bono work that I did. And so when I moved to San Diego, I was really pleased to see a job opening for the pro bono manager of San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program. And so I took that and was really just so impressed with the mission and the work. And then when the opportunity came by to be the CEO, I applied and that's what I'm doing now.
Right. So how long has the program been involved?
The program's been around since 1983.
Right, exactly. And the mission is?
The mission is to be the bridge between low-income San Diegans who need legal services and can't afford it, and the attorneys and others in our community that donate their time and resources.
Right, and one of them is with us right next to me, Kieran de Terra. He's an associate attorney at DLA Piper. How you doing there, Kieran?
I'm good, Drew. Thanks a million for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me what you love about working with the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic experience. Definitely encourage any associates or partners out there to work with them. Jen and team are fantastic about putting together any opportunities that that come across and that they've vetted. Send out regular newsletters rather, and when we identify an opportunity that we would like to work with them. They're fantastic at setting up the connection between us as kind of the pro bono counsel and the clients, and making sure everything runs pretty smoothly from there. Yeah, and both of you guys know, as lawyers, it can be a little intimidating working in the legal system. You guys do it for a living, so you're not as geeked up out of it. But I think it's such a great opportunity. I was sharing with Kieran earlier. I've been fortunate to work with nonprofits for probably 10,000 years older than you guys are since 1984. And so when I see the work that you folks do with nonprofits and how easy you can make life for them, and we're going to speak to one of them right now, David Tillman. He's the CEO and founder of ProPhound Kids. How you doing, David?
Very good. Thank you so much for having me.
I know, exactly. Bronx raised and so forth, Yankee fan. Listen, my dad grew up in the same area you did, so I was a Yankee fan. I'm a Dodger fan because I grew up in L.A., so in that aspect of it. Talk about ProPhound Kids. What's it about? What's the mission?
Yeah, absolutely. ProPhound Kids. So all we want to do is just service the kids in the community between the ages of 10 and 20 that have a history of abuse and neglect or any adverse childhood experience, and give them a safe space to express themselves through various art forms: music, songwriting, drawing, painting, dancing. In a sense, just giving them a safe space to express themselves really supports their mental health, right? And trying to teach them how to make a career path out of it and contribute to the community in a sense. Really, it just holds a big spot in my heart. I relate to it so much because I come from the same type of environment or upbringing that these kids go through. And I feel like without a safety net or without, a good group of people supporting these kids, we lose them to gang violence, drug abuse, self-harm. So many things are on the list. So if I can help them find a passion for something, which helps them tell their story, and then also teach them how to contribute to society with this art that they're creating, I think it's like a win-win situation for everybody.
Well, you hit all the magic words on something that's near and dear to our heart at Cloudcast Media, and especially on the Spotlight Show. Career pathways, visual and performing arts, working with kids that have had some challenges, to say the least, and you're a confluence into all of them. So really, I congratulate you on all of that. Do this folks that come to you, are they coming from different agencies? You get calls from the schools? Where do they come from?
So we do not have a brick and mortar right now, so kids cannot come to us. But
Okay.
I'm in a sense where I'm going to organizations.
Right.
Some of our partners are YAC, which is also known as the Youth Assistance Coalition,
Okay.
Oasis Clubhouse. I've been trying to tap in with David's Harp Foundation,
Yep.
and the Monarch School. So yeah, right now I feel like me not having a place for the kids to come to should not be a
Barrier.
Exactly. I should be able to go to them, which I do.
Yeah, no, I think that's terrific. So, Jen, how did you folks get a hold of David and ProPhound Kids, or vice versa? How did he get a hold of you?
So we have our micro business and nonprofit support program is our program that helps low-income entrepreneurs, and then also the part that David was part of was the part helping where we help nonprofit organizations that help low-income San Diegans. And I believe that David applied to us through our regular application process, and we don't normally we rarely assist people in forming nonprofits because we strongly believe that you really have to have a solid business plan and the wherewithal to remain in business and a going concern for many years, and we don't want to set up nonprofits that are maybe it's too early and they're just going to, come back to us later and ask for help in dissolving. But we really could tell that David had exactly what it took to launch a successful nonprofit. And so we really wanted to assist him.
Yeah, we got breaking news here. I just got a text from Neville Villamoria that says,
Oh, wow.
"Hi, Jenn Nelson." So he knows you're on.
Tell
knows
him
you're on
hello.
the absolutely. Kieran, is there a certain area that DLA Piper, of course, now being involved with San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program, but when you work with a nonprofit like ProPhound Kids, they need help more in one area than the others, or it's all over the board?
It's all over the board. I really focus though on nonprofit formation, just because that's sort of within my my bandwidth or my skill set.
Right.
In a previous life, before I was a privacy and cybersecurity attorney, I was a nonprofit attorney, and so worked very closely, with nonprofits doing formations, but also, as Jen mentioned, the unfortunate kind of end result of dissolutions and delinquencies. And so, when I joined DLA in 2021, looking for pro bono opportunities, that was the niche that I found. But to Jen's point, it is extremely important to ensure that the individual looking to form the nonprofit has thought through funding sources, and has a kind of well thought out plan of attack or business plan, so to speak. And the first time meeting with David checked all those boxes, plus the mission of the nonprofit really hit home with me, because in a prior life, I wanted to get into the film industry, and so having kind of that creative element there to the nonprofit, or to the charitable class of people that ProPhound Kids was looking to help with, really hit home for me as well.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. We're now in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people living in San Diego County, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the arts, financial literacy. They've just been great partners. Thrilled to have in the studio with us today our friends from the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program, Jenn Nelson, CEO. Joined by her colleague Kieran de Terra. He's an associate attorney at DLA Piper, and David Tillman is the CEO and founder of ProPhound Kids, Inc. So when you came across David, this is a cool organization, okay?
Thank you.
And you applied, and you obviously made contact with Jen and the team over here. Was there a certain type of activity or something you said, listen, I need help in this area, this is why I'm coming to this group?
It was really the formation. I have no background knowledge on nonprofits. This is my first time around being a CEO of anything. So I really needed help with paperwork and documentation, and they were super helpful with that. And just to piggyback off what Jen said, even when I called in the first time, they told me, we don't really help with formations, but I forgot exactly who I talked to on the phone where he was like, your mission is so powerful, I have to send this up to the ladder and see what we can do for you. And they were able to do a lot more than I expected them to. So
yeah, and I think I was telling Kieran, I'm fortunate enough to be on a lot of boards, Classroom of the Future Foundation, Junior Achievement, blah blah blah, and we all know how important it is to make sure you have a lawyer on your board that can make sure, are the bylaws legal? How about that one for a concept, right? And so forth. Jen, do you work with that as well? Do you help nonprofits with bylaws and so forth?
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll help a nonprofit with basically any sort of business transactional legal need that they have. So we see them come to us for a variety of reasons. Had to have their employee handbook reviewed, exactly bylaws, any sort of governance documents, and we're happy to assist with any of that.
Right. Do you go to court if need be?
So that's the one thing we don't do is we don't do litigation.
Okay.
So involving nonprofits, but we'll do any business transactional piece of the work that they need.
Right. But would you refer another firm or a firm to a nonprofit if it had to be involved with some litigation?
Yes, we always try to find referrals. And in any instance, and with SDVLP, if we're not able to assist a client, we try to find them someone who will take that work. Our program, though, is very unusual. There aren't, to my knowledge, any other nonprofits providing this kind of support to nonprofit and entrepreneurs in San Diego. So there's not a lot of people out there doing the work.
And I imagine the need is huge, is it not?
It's really huge. A lot of people, nonprofits, it's really difficult to run a nonprofit, and they have very unique laws that they have to comply with. Yes, as I'm sure that you know. And so they're not. There's no free attorney for nonprofits. There's no. If you're accused of a crime, then you get a free attorney. But for civil legal matters, there's no free attorneys offered. And so a lot of nonprofits are trying to navigate these really complicated laws entirely on their own. And sometimes small problems can become bigger problems because they're not getting that legal advice that they need.
Right, exactly. When we come back from break, we're going to continue the conversation with San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program and then chat with David more about his organization. One of the things we'd love to do, David, I don't want to break any HIPAA laws here on that business, but we usually have a lot of times some of the folks that are the beneficiary of what you're doing, or clients that have really learned about, how do I take care of this mental health crisis that this whole solar system is in right now in this area. So think about that as well. And we'll come back to more questions with Jen and Kieran on what our listeners can do to support the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program when we come back from this very short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Thrilled to have in the studio with us today our friends from the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program. We've got CEO Jenn Nelson, joined by our colleague Kieran de Terra, Associate Attorney at DLA Piper, and David Tillman, CEO and founder of ProPhound Kids, Inc. What a great vibe that you have. And as Kieran said, you really just hit all the things that are really important to groups like San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program. So you work with ages 10 to 20, right? The kids that have been neglected or abused or whatever the case may be,
Yes, sir.
focusing on the arts, music. Do you do dance as well?
Yes,
Is dance
sir.
in there?
Dance, fashion design, DJing, jewelry making. I'm trying to implement as many things as possible because art is not this small batch of things. Art could be anything. So
Well, the beauty of art, and I hear I'm preaching to the congregation, for God's sake, on this thing, is that it's a collaborator. It builds confidence. Talk about that.
absolutely. Even as like a testimonial, a lot of our kids coming into the program first day, they're very shy. I kind of got to drag them to the table. By week 3 out of a 10-week program, they're coming up to me like, what are we doing today? This really helped me. I've seen kids just throw paint at a canvas and feel like, you know what, I feel a lot better today. So just seeing kids come out their shell is amazing, and we owe it all to art.
Right. So now, do you raise funds from individual donations, from corporate donations to help the organization?
So a lot of it comes out of my pocket as well, but I do have a lot of friends and people that buy into the mission that donate. We have a donation page. My sister is really great. That's my CFO, Jabria Howington. She does a lot of grant writing, so we've been applying to a lot of grants like Prebis, and Boys and Girls Club, and a whole list of things. She has this whole tracker that I refuse to look at because it scares me. But yeah, we've been just trying to spread what we're doing, get more people to buy into it. So,
Do you work? You do with the arts with the kids? We know there's a great connectivity with that. Do you get involved with sports at all?
So the only sports thing that I've been trying to do a collaboration with is Fat Camp. I don't know if you guys heard of Fat Camp.
I've not. Is it PHAT or FAT?
PHAT.
Thank you very much.
It's this summer thing.
Drew's not that old. Well, yes, I am. But that's another story.
No, but it is PH. Fat Camp is a nonprofit organization that does softball in the summer for young women in our community. That's who I've been trying to collaborate with because they do a lot of vendors come there, performers do their showcases there. So I've been trying to get the kids to probably do like a talent show with Fat Camp.
Right. If you ever need rugby, Kieran is in there for you. Is that right, Kieran?
Absolutely.
Right. I just signed you up for some rugby with ProPhound Kids on this. So, Jenn, for our folks that are listening out there, whether they're involved with a nonprofit or they volunteer for a nonprofit, said, hey, I need folks to contact San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program. How do they get a hold of you? And, what can they get? What are the benefits from it?
So the easiest way to get a hold of us is on our website, www.sdvlp.org. We have a page that says Get Help, and then a link to our micro business and nonprofit support program. And then there's an application there that they can fill out. And really, any sort of question that they might have about nonprofit, formation or helping nonprofits with their governance documents, any kind of question that they might have, you can, either fill out the application or give us a call. And then one thing that's really valuable, I think, to people with nonprofit organizations and also to the low-income entrepreneurs that apply is many people don't know what they don't know. And so we have many clinics where we have assessment tools where we can walk people through the current state of their organization, and they can sort of see what sort of things they're supposed to have. And then that will often trigger them to then recognize where areas where they might need an attorney to assist.
Right. Now, do you work with organizations such as USD's Nonprofit Institute, which is a great organization? I do say so myself.
Yes. Yeah. That's a wonderful, wonderful organization. And we are currently partnering with them to We attended their nonprofit academy, and we're going to be attending another one that's upcoming on August 15th. And we're going to be offering presentations and also legal clinics to nonprofit organizations in the community so that they can sort of assess where they are and where they might need additional guidance.
Right. So, Kieran, how did you find out about San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program? Is it something that someone on your team mentioned that, hey, this is something that we've always been involved in, or are you the first attorney to work with this group from DLA Piper?
Definitely not the first attorney.
Yeah.
DLA has, I think, a long-standing relationship with SDVLP, and DLA does a great job of promoting or encouraging us to do pro bono work and get engaged, in pro bono work for the community, especially. It's also a small world, and that Jenn mentioned the USC nonprofit clinic work. A former managing partner at the firm that I worked at prior, and my nonprofit mentor May Harris is heavily involved in that, and so we have a connection through that as well. And she has. When I joined DLA in 2021, she spoke very highly of SDVLP's work within the community. So
yeah, I've been honored. I was on the board of the USD School of Leadership and Ed Sciences when Paula Cordero formed it, and of course, Nonprofit Institute falls under that, and they just do phenomenal work. David, it's got to be just absolutely something that these guys have your back.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely.
And there's not a question that you can't ask, Jenn or Kieran, and that aspect of it. Talk about the confidence it gets you as, you're an entrepreneur. You're also running a nonprofit in that aspect that there's nothing that I can't overcome because I got somebody that can answer these questions.
Yeah, I feel like Batman walking through Gotham City, right? I feel like I have a team, a whole army behind me. It makes me feel really good because, like I said, I don't have any experience with any of this stuff, especially with Kieran. We built such a good relationship where we just went to dinner the other day. I've met his fiance, and I like to do that with everyone I bring into the organization. It's strategically picked, try to build a good relationship with these people. So to answer your question without rambling, yeah, I feel really good.
No, I think that's terrific. You brought up a very good point. And talking about relationships, and I'm a journalist by trade and all that business. And sometimes people look at us like, really, why are you asking these questions? I'm trying to help you, for God's sake.
Yeah.
The same thing probably in the legal world as well. People want to know really what's there. You guys make it very clear we're here to help you. We're not here to sit there and complicate the issues on it. And it's all about relationships is correct in that area. So we're going to make you effective immediately. You are a spokesperson, obviously for ProPhound Kids, but right now you're going to be a spokesperson for San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We got David Tillman over here. He just got promoted. He is now the VP of Communications for SDVLP. Reports to Jenn Nelson and Kieran. Why should I go ahead and get involved with these guys?
If you're not getting involved with them, man, you're really setting yourself back. SDVLP are literally giving you things like how Jenn said, most people have to pay for things like this. So this is very game-changing, especially for the nonprofit sector where you can get pro bono legal work. If you're not at least reaching out to them for advice or anything like that, in a sense, you are setting yourself back. It's free resources. Take advantage of it.
Well, and really important stuff. And as you mentioned, Jenn and Kieran is all, you got to be very, very on top of your game when it comes to nonprofit, regulations. Talk about that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of pitfalls out there. The rules are very complicated and, they're always changing too. Especially recently, there's just been a lot of changes to nonprofit law. And if you're not constantly staying abreast of it, then you can find yourself in trouble pretty easily.
And most nonprofits look like David. You got one or two people, yes, we have some big ones in that aspect of it, but most of them are small. And Classroom of the Future Foundation is lean and mean, even though we've been around for 28. How many years now? Yeah, 28 years, and so forth. So it's just absolutely imperative that people to start working with you folks. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast in our 19th year. Brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things. People in San Diego County, chatting with Jenn Nelson. She's the CEO of the San Diego Volunteer Lawyer Program, joined by her colleague, Kieran de Terra, associate attorney with DLA Piper, working very closely with the program and with fine folks like David Tillman, CEO and founder of ProPhound Kids, Inc. So we'll start with you on this, Kieran, and go to you, Jenn, and then end up with David. Our Spotlight audience knows how to work with nonprofits and for-profits as well. I'll start with you, Kieran. What can we do? What can our listeners do to help support the work that you're doing with the Volunteer Lawyer Program?
Yeah, I think probably one of the most important things, is when you are approaching, or if you are, looking to work with SDVLP and its network of pro bono attorneys, ensure that you, specifically in the nonprofit field, ensuring that you have, a clear vision for what you do. You don't need to have thought through, all the paperwork. That's what we're here for. We revel in the minutiae and the boring aspects of it, but at least ensuring that you have a kind of a clear vision for at least the initial couple of years, where your funding is coming from, as David mentioned, and what initial programs you want to engage in. You can have a big picture, a longer term view, but being realistic for the first couple of years is absolutely vital, and also being responsive to your attorneys as well, which David and his sister Bree were. They made it really, really easy to work with. Anything, forming a nonprofit, as Jenn alluded to earlier, is a labor-intensive and collaborative process, and so you cannot rely solely on your attorney to do all of the work. You need to be involved and invested in it, and it gives us confidence that we're helping set up an organization that's going to last. Like with startups, a lot of nonprofits will last 2 to 3 years before the volunteers decide that this is too much work. Too much unpaid work is taking away from their other passions, and unfortunately, they'd have to come to either a pro bono or a firm to help them shut it down. And we would like to try and avoid that from the get go.
That's spot on. That's great advice, Jenn. How about you? What can our listeners do?
Well, I think one of the best ways to support SDVLP is to be like Kieran and to volunteer with us.
Right.
That's what we rely upon. We our model of service is that we only have around 20 staff attorneys at SDVLP, and then we leverage the time and talent of attorneys like Kieran at the major law firms, solo practitioners. So every year we have about 450 attorneys that volunteer with us.
Wow.
But there are 16,000 attorneys in San Diego. And every day we turn clients away. And so the really one of the best things that you can do if you're an attorney listening out there is to come and volunteer your time with us, because if every attorney in San Diego volunteered, we could really ensure that no one had to be unrepresented in their cases. And in SDVLP, we do more than, the micro business and nonprofit work. We're also helping people with very serious issues with domestic violence, child custody. And then we also, if you're not an expert in a particular area like Kieran is, we actually provide you with mentorship and training. So an attorney that doesn't have that knowledge can step right in. And then the other way would be to donate. We're always looking for donations.
Yeah.
And our Justice for All celebration is coming up on September 25th. If anyone is interested in joining us.
Right, and where's that going to be?
That's going to be at Park Commons.
Okay.
In Sorna Mesa.
Right, and it's on the website. Is it on your website?
It's on our website.
Okay, and how many folks can attend that?
We usually expect between 250 to 300 attendees each year.
Okay, very, very good. And then registration is open as we speak, correct?
Yes.
All right, and what's it called?
The Justice for All celebration.
Okay, Justice for All celebration. Very good. So, all right, David, it's all up to you here. What can we do to support this great organization, yours, ProPhound Kids? Make sure everyone looks at that donate button and hit it multiple times. What else can we do?
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, donate, right? But besides capital, I'm very young into this. I'm very humble. Just connections are great. Point me in the right direction. Give me advice. Come out and see what we're doing with the kids. Just support of you just standing there and Showing your interest is great. And just let us know where we can go to impact. Like where else should we go? Are there people in your community that need what we deliver? I'll do it in a heartbeat. Because this mission is going to get achieved whether somebody hits the donation button or not. I'll die on this hill. I will give my all to this mission, give my all to the youth. So just support me, point me in the right direction. It's good.
Yeah, well, listen, what you're doing is phenomenal. We all know this. It certainly warms the heart of Jenn and Kieran, obviously, because they're now supporting an organization. When you turn that one kid's life around, it's not that one kid. It's whoever else is in that kid's sphere. Is it siblings? Is it aunts, uncles, whatever the case may be? And it's a multiplier effect. And we know in this world, current world we're in, which is a crazy world, the mental health has never been in such a high crisis. I'm, again, preaching to the congregation here in this aspect of it. We can't do enough to support the population that you're doing. So I would hope you can come back on.
Of course.
And I'd love for you to bring in some folks that have benefited from what you folks have done.
Absolutely.
And again, not trying to break in any rule. I got two lawyers next to me here. Am I breaking any rules on this one yet?
No.
That's right. Good. And I'd love to have you do that. And then for you, Jenn and Kieran, let's make it at least once a quarter you folks are in and bring in another Kieran or whatever the case may be. I can't imagine a nonprofit not wanting to take advantage of what you folks offer. It is huge for 65 different reasons. And think about all the things, and again, this is what you do in your mission, that you take care of for David, that he could focus on his mission. Okay, so you're not going to have to get wrapped up in the 1 point type. So I applaud everybody here on this, David. We're going to look forward to having you back on and continue to talk about the great work that ProPhound Kids are doing. And Jenn and Kieran, thank you for what you folks offer, and we'll look forward to having you back on as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people living in San Diego County. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.